Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Emanuela Orlandi, who was 15 when she disappeared on the 22nd of June of 1983 from Rome, Italy. She would usually travel by bus to the music school located in Piazza di San Apollinare. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And on that day, the 22nd of June, she apparently met somebody who said that they would give her 370,000 lira, or about $600, for 2 hours of handing out flyers for Avon products at a fashion show. And she was going to meet him again at the end of the lesson to give him her answer. And she called her sister about that, and Frederica, her sister, said, that sounds like it's way too much money for that type of work. You probably want to talk to her parents about it first. And it doesn't seem like she was planning to do that, because she was talking to 2 other female classmates about that same job offer on the way out of class and on the way to the bus stop at Corso Rinascimento, which is where she was last seen at around 7:30 p.m. with another girl who was never identified. Now, apparently there has been some controversy focusing mainly on the Pope at the time, Pope John Paul II, and of course the Holy See, which is the government of the Vatican. Pope John Paul II released a public appeal to release her after an unnamed organization involved in bad things claimed to be holding the girl in exchange for the liberation of Mehmet Ali Agca, a Turkish bad person who 2 years before had attempted to hurt the same Pope. So the Pope made a statement, an appeal for the people responsible for Orlandi's disappearance to release her, which made the hypothesis of kidnapping official for the first time. And 2 days after that, the Orlandi family received a number of calls made by an anonymous male with an American accent, who would later be called the American, very original. The man claimed to be calling on behalf of an organization that was holding Emanuela prisoner and demanding the release of Mehmet Al-Agca. As proof, the American played a recording of Orlandi's voice over the phone. The anonymous caller also mentioned Mario and Pierluigi of the previous phone calls which they had received before this, identifying them as members of the organization. Despite decades of investigations, the real identity of the American has never been discovered. And this American also called the Agenzia Nazionale Stampa Associata, abbreviated by ANSA, a news agency, informing them of the demand for the prisoner exchange, asking for the Pope's participation within 20 days, and indicating that a wastebasket in the public square near the Italian parliament would contain proof that Orlandi was indeed in his hands. These were to have been photocopies of her music school identity card, a receipt for tuition, and a note handwritten by the kidnapped girl. Then on July 8th, a man with an alleged Middle Eastern accent phoned one of Orlandi's classmates, saying the girl was in his hands and that they had 20 days to make the exchange. He also asked for a direct telephone line with Cardinal Agostino Casaroli, the Vatican Secretary of State. The line was installed on July 18th. A total of 16 phone calls were made by the American from different public telephones. Alright. So there continued to be a lot of back and forth between these people calling and, of course, law enforcement. Interestingly, on the 24th of December of 1983, 6 months after the disappearance, Pope John Paul II visited Orlandi's house and told the family that the case of Emanuela is a case of international T-word, and assured them that the Holy See is doing as much as humanly possible to have a positive ending. Years later, Pietro Orlandi commented that from that moment, instead, the Pope allowed silence to surround Emanuela's case. Then, in 1997, the first investigation into the Orlandi case was dismissed by the public prosecutor of Rome due to lack of new evidence. In his official statement, the magistrature classified the theory of Orlandi's kidnapping by international T organizations as a misdirection. In 2013, a few days after his election, Pope Francis met the Orlandi family after a mass and told them that Emanuela is in heaven, implying the girl's death. Alright, thank you, Pope Francis. According to the family, this statement was proof that the Holy See knew what happened to Orlandi, despite the Vatican claiming over many years that it was not involved in the matter. Pietro asked many times to have a meeting with the Pope in order to ask for more information, but the Vatican never replied. There were actually a lot of theories on this case. I'm not going to mention all of them, but that was just the main one. And then there's a lot of offshoots involving all sorts of other scandals within the Vatican, and some connections to London as well. A serial killer, of course. that part of the theory I will include, because that's always something that we tend to deal with in these cases. It says here in the 2000s, Judge Otello Lupacini and journalist Max Parisi conducted a study of over 12 cases of young girls missing and murdered in Rome between 1982 and 1990, and hypothesized that all of them were the victims of a serial killer due to the similarities of the murders and their proximity within the city. Lupacini and Parisi put forth the theory that both Mirella Gregori and Emanuela Orlandi were victims of this serial killer. According to them, this man lured the girls with job offers like selling Avon products and then kidnapped and killed them. Gregory and Orlandi, who were the only two minors on this list of victims, were also the only ones whose bodies were never found. So that's interesting, actually. They want to connect 12 cases, but only 2 of them actually have the same MO, which is Mirella and Emanuela. So I wonder what happened in the other 10 cases, because not only were they the only 2 underage victims, but they were also the only 2 who were never found. So that kind of seems like that would be one perpetrator, and then there is 10 other girls who may be victims of another person or persons. Either way, there's still a lot of questions, a lot of theories, like I said, and not much answers. So today we're going to take a look at this case using the tarot. We're going to start off with the Tarot Mucha deck, which is this one. And for any further questions, moving on to the Crow Tarot deck, which is this one. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I've got a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, and yes, I do have a new background. I got a new tablecloth, which has a nicer color, I think, than the one I had before. And since it is turning autumn, I thought I would do a little bit of decoration around the outside. Something nice to look at, I suppose, if you need a little break from whatever it is that's going on elsewhere on the screen. Anyway, so we're starting off with the 10 of Swords, and then we have a 2 of Cups and the Lovers in reverse. It's an interesting combination here. We do see some worry right from the start, and then we have the 2 of Cups, like I said, and the Lovers. So this kind of seems like she may have been approached and she may have initially been wary and not entirely sure what to make of this person who was talking about all the money she would make just handing out some flyers. And that slowly turned into, oh yeah, I guess this isn't such a bad idea, because the 2 of Cups is like making connection with people, also connecting to certain mindsets and that type of thing. So she may have been convinced that it wasn't so bad after all. Now, the next card we have here is a Lovers in reverse. So this, I think, is a little bit more after the fact. Like, this is her perhaps in her music class, talking to other classmates, talking to her sister on the phone. Maybe the reason why she called her sister is because people in the class were like, I don't know, maybe we should talk to somebody about that. Doesn't sound too good to me, that type of thing. So we went very quickly from being mistrusting to being, oh yeah, I guess it's okay, and then having some doubts. Now, the call with the sister, I think, is also wrapped up here in this third card with the Lovers in reverse, kind of like, well, you think it's a bad idea, and you think I should talk to my parents, but I don't know about that. Next card we have here is the Page of Pentacles in reverse, so this is indeed a bad investment. And then we have the 6 of Wands. Okay, so she may have returned to this person, initially being a little bit more wary, possibly because of the conversation that she's had with her sister in any case, and possibly with other people about this. They may not have been too happy with this suggestion. It said on the Wikipedia page that she tried to talk to a few more classmates about this, but they didn't actually end up going with her. There was a mention of another girl being at the same bus stop. Now, it doesn't say anything about whether the girl was coming with her to this person to talk about this job opportunity. I doubt it. Maybe it was more like mentioned as in, oh, there was another person there. If you know who this is, or if you are this person, contact us so we can tell what she was talking about before she got on the bus, if you saw anything on the bus, that type of thing. But anyway, so the classmates did not want to join in, but we see here the Six of Wands. So the bad investment and the Page of Pentacles may have been kind of overshadowed by this amazing person showing up and just being like almost like a hero status, or just being somebody who is admired. Now, this may be somebody who's pretty good at sweet talking people, and particularly sweet talking young girls into all sorts of crazy ideas. So I'm guessing that that's kind of what happened there. Next row, we have the Knight of Wands. Quick actions. We have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so some type of bankruptcy. And then we have the Ten of Wands over here, right? So we're tired of some type of burden. So hasty actions are being taken. Yeah, I feel like maybe the hasty actions of the person who told them that they could make a bunch of money handing out flyers. We see the Five of Pentacles in the background, or at least the next card. I'm looking at the background of this card, noticing a town in the distance and a person sitting there looking very dejected. In the foreground, she appears to be begging, which is common for the Five of Pentacles card. But I'm not sure if this is a stained glass window, or if this is indeed like a town or something in the background that may be symbolizing that the society that she is used to being surrounded by is far removed from whatever position she is currently in. We have the Ten of Wands, so this looks like she may have been put in a situation, not immediately, like the Wikipedia page says that maybe a serial killer is involved, and these two girls, like her and another girl who are both underage, may be victims of said serial killer, but neither of their bodies were ever found. It could be that it didn't happen right away if they were indeed, if their lives were indeed ended by this person. I think there may have been a period beforehand of some type of servitude or some type of strife or something that they had to push themselves through, which is what the Ten of Wands is kind of showing us. Like, they're just very, very tired. They're dejected with the Five of Pentacles, so there may be some type of servitude involved here, some type of work that she was not involved, or they didn't want to be involved in the first place. So next we have Justice and the Hierophant. All right, so there is justice at work here, and somebody with some type of higher position involved. Maybe it could be that she actually was introduced to somebody in that field, that type of work or that type of position, and she maybe thought that this person's presence meant that she was now going to be given justice, because justice is very clearly here right now and connected to this Hierophant character. So she may have met somebody there and thought, okay, this is my savior, this person is going to make things right. Like, that may have been on her mind at the time. Okay, so at the moment she is in a position where she does not want to be, but she thinks things are going to turn around for her. Let's see what happens next. Oh. Well, what happens next is that I'm going to have to get some cards off the floor. Three of Swords in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse. And the Eight of Wands upright. Okay, so the Three of Swords in reverse. Somebody is in the way, possibly interrupting some type of connection. Maybe the connection that she was hoping to have with this Hierophant character over there was interrupted, or there was some type of meddling there. Then we have here the Two of Cups in reverse, so we're now actually signing off from some type of connection, some type of mindset that she originally had signed up for. Could be that she found out something about this person over here that kind of upset her. It's like, okay, wait, this isn't quite what I had in mind, and I don't know if I can believe you right now. We have the Eight of Wands, which I think is her trying to reach out to people, which is interesting because she may have been trying to send a message somehow. She may have been trying to get her hands on a phone or something. Maybe the voice recording that this American had was a part of her thinking that she had a chance to communicate with the outside world, like it may have been recorded during such a time. Or maybe the entire recording is represented here by the Eight of Wands, kind of like she thinks that things are going to be okay and all she has to do is follow certain orders, but she doesn't actually like the people involved anymore. Like there may have been people there whom she thought would be helpful, would be on her side, and they turned out to be not quite what they seemed. But she thought, okay, if I can get this thing out, if I can get this message out, then maybe people will be able to find me and bring me back home, that type of thing. Let's see what happens next. Okay, this one is the King of Swords in reverse. All right, so we have somebody on board here who is really good with words and is really good at manipulating things. So it could be that they were lying to her repeatedly, trying to get her to stay calm and just follow along, because of course the King of Swords is very good with his mind, very good with his words and his thoughts, and able to persuade people with their lies or half-truths or missing truths. As they say, a half-truth is a whole lie, so maybe he was like twisting things and that made her feel like they were telling the truth, that things were going to be okay, but of course ultimately they did not. Three of Wands, wanting to go somewhere. We have the Queen of Wands though as well, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so we have somebody here who may have tried to offer her a way out or offer some type of action that she could take or that they might take on her behalf, and she probably had the wish to move, wish to get out of there, which is represented by the Three of Wands. So this Queen of Wands is like seeing this, and it could be a male as well as a female. It doesn't have to be either, but they probably said, oh yeah, we can do that, or perhaps they kind of did the quite opposite of what she wanted, but it helped keep her calm, kind of like saying, oh yeah, we're gonna move somewhere, that's right, we're gonna go away from here, that type of thing, but not mentioning what the result was going to be of this move. Like she maybe moved to another location which was not the location that she was told she was going to be at, that type of thing. But we do see her trying to connect to this person here with the Ace of Cups, like almost like latching on to whomever seems a little bit friendly, a little more sane, more likely to want to help her out. Let's see what else we can get. So she's putting her trust in whoever she thinks may possibly help her out. So there's a whole stack that fell on the table back here. It's about 20 cards, so we're not going to pick all of those. Let's see what we need from here. We have the Ten of Pentacles in the background. I think we need at least one more card from this little stack here. That one. Okay, once again on the floor. But here we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So we're looking at losing certain things. Possibly this is the moment where she realizes that what happens quite often in this type of situation, they realize that the life that they thought that they were going to live, all the future plans that they had made for themselves or were dreaming of maybe one day doing, is not going to come to fruition. Just this realization that things are not as they had initially been planned. The Star in reverse, I definitely see this as her losing hope, losing that star, that spark inside of her. Normally the star does also represent something like faith and a belief in the divinity and purity and that type of thing. And if that's in reverse, that's not a good sign. I think this may be referencing her being forced into certain activities that she would definitely not have wanted to partake in. I'm sure you can guess, but also I feel like this is her representing, or at least that she is feeling like people are unaware of where she is, and her light is quickly fading, as in they're never going to find me because I'm no longer anywhere near where I was originally. They're not going to know how to find me. They're not going to know where to look, that type of thing. So what happens next to her? Are we ever going to find her again? Whoop. The Five of Cups in reverse, so we're unable to let something go. Possibly also just incapable of letting something go. Like maybe there's just nothing good for her to focus on. Like normally this card would say, well, there's still 2 pretty good cups behind you. I know you spilled 3, but look, you still got something left. And I'm feeling like this is more, there is nothing left. And she's not going to be able to make it out of there. She may realize that at some point. That may have also been made clear to her at some point. Oh, that card wanted to flip. Let's see what we got. The Knight of Pentacles. Alright, so we're being very methodical here. It could be that she is still alive, at least at this point, and deciding that she should just work with this, and even though it's not the best starting position, it's something, and maybe I can work my way out of this, like that type of attitude, just kind of like being sure to keep her head down, not cause too much trouble, agree to things, and hopefully plant some seeds that'll blossom in the future into something good. Like the knight is on his way to greener pastures, or at least hopes to be on its way to said greener pastures, so maybe that was her initial goal, to aim for that. Also see that the camera is kind of sliding. Let me fix that. It was slowly drooping forward, but hopefully it's going to stay in place now. Anyway, so yes, what did I say? Knight of Pentacles, yes. Trying to keep her head down and hopefully finding her way out of it by just being as good as she possibly could. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So this is her no longer believing anything that they say to her. And we do have some doubt here. Maybe she considered possibly running away or trying to speak out or something. Like there was a period where she was constantly doubting about things. She definitely was not involved like emotionally with anybody there, definitely didn't let anybody close in that sense with this Ace of Cups in reverse, but she seems to have had her doubts, maybe also her doubts about what if I had done this, what if I had done that, could I potentially call somebody, who would I call, how do I get a hold of a phone, that type of thing, just trying to find ways out of her situation, and maybe also doubting if certain attempts might be successful or not. Like there may be a time during the day where there are certain people who come and go in a certain room, and maybe she's thinking, if I can just kind of sneak out for a couple of minutes, maybe I can run down the hall, but then what would happen if I get caught? Like that type of doubts, I think, were taking place. Alright, then we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse and the Mage of Rights, or Magician, as some people call that. Three of Pentacles in reverse. So there's people working against her. Could be that there were people pretending to be on her side and they were actually there just kind of monitoring her progress, if you could call it that, to see what she's up to and maybe hope that she would confide her ideas into them so they could potentially stop things beforehand. And I think that's also kind of what the wizard here is, or the magician rather, is pointing towards. Just having somebody in the background who is aware of everything and is always kind of like a step ahead at every turn. So I think that is, well, she of course is trying everything that she can. So the magician might also be pointing towards her, trying to be as resourceful as possible and possibly coming to all sorts of smart ideas that she could have tried. But there's just people working against her, so all those things probably didn't amount to anything. Oh. Another one on the floor. Temperance in reverse. Okay, so now we're losing our temper. I don't know if this is her. It could be that she became impatient. It could be that she became kind of unreasonable after a while of just having been kept there against her will. I think that maybe tempers in general have been flaring up with both her and her captors. We have here the Hanged Man. This one is upright though, so this might be pointing towards a new perspective. Maybe she had some insights there. Then the Knight of Swords in reverse, and that I think is hastily spoken words that probably did not land very well. It could be that she was trying a new tactic, and some of that involved being not cooperative and possibly trying to get some type of, some type of conflict going that maybe caused for some chaos and confusion that she probably hoped would help her out. I'm feeling like she may have tried to turn some people against each other so that the person that would be on her side then ultimately could be convinced to let it go, or something like that. But we see here the Page of Cups in reverse, so it's a negative surprise there. So possibly, even though she may have caused some chaos and confusion there, that didn't quite pack out that in the way that she wanted. Then we have the Queen of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Cups upright. Okay, so Ten of Cups is normally a very positive card, but in this case, I don't know if it's a positive card for us on this planet. By which I mean to say the Queen of Swords steps in, and not only is she really good with her words and just as manipulative as the King of Swords from earlier, I'm also really noticing that very long sword that she's got. And then we see the Ten of Cups, which I think in this case is kind of pointing towards the amazing world that people claim you will go to beyond this lifetime. So almost like release, but not in a positive sense for our earthly realm here. So release in a more biblical sense. And that is also something that the Pope said. Now, I don't know if the Pope was actually aware of her actual circumstances. Kind of feel like they may have just tried to put the matter to rest. And of course, I don't know anything about the situation personally. But I think that that may have come to pass regardless whether the Pope knew anything or not. So now I guess all we have left is to ask if we're ever going to learn anything about her whereabouts, if we're going to find any remains, are we going to see anybody being brought to justice? Ace of Swords, alright, so there's definitely some type of idea, new initiative being taken. It could be that somebody comes up with a new angle to this case that may open up some new things and some old files as well, as they try to again look at this case and possibly crack some things open. Then we have Seven of Cups. Alright, so we have some wishful thinking here. So I think this is an opportunity to potentially do things over again, and there's people wishing that this will be a successful attempt at this point, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a successful attempt. More like there are people just really rooting for this to come up with something good, at least come up with something really, because so far, other than a whole bunch of theories, there isn't really much in ways of a resolution. These cards love being on the floor. Hang on. King of Wands. Alright, so this King of Wands over here might be the person who has this new initiative and new idea. So we're looking at somebody who's pretty good at pushing for things to happen. Very actionable, as I like to say. Also has a lot of patience, I think, because I'm looking at the infinity symbol there in the top right. Also the fact that they're sitting on top of a lion, which is also the strength aspect in this sense, kind of like the strength card. Able to keep things under control. Just somebody who's really looking to push it to its limits and has plenty of energy to do so. So how successful is this person going to be, or these people? Could it just as easily be an organization, a group of some sort? The Nine of Pentacles, alright, so this might be somebody who's well financed. It could be that they are financed by people who are just regular ordinary citizens interested in seeing this crime solved. Could also be loyal followers, because there is the dog there that he's sitting on top of, just like the king over there sitting on top of the lion. This one is sitting on top of what looks like a husky, and huskies can go for very long distances with a lot of enthusiasm, and I think that combined with this set of resources, I think is a very enthusiastic team that's going to help them get to the finish line. Okay, yeah, that one. We have the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so now we're definitely working together. I think this is kind of just what I was saying earlier, that we have a lot of cooperation. We have a whole team that's willing to really dig into this case and get to the bottom of it. And they're also going to get some fruits of their labor here. They are picking at the cherries here. Could be cherry picking information. Sometimes it does turn out that way, but I think they are kind of finding the little bits that they really need to combine and get to the bottom of this. Whoop. Okay, again. The Sun in reverse. Okay, so it is definitely a serious organization here. It's not like they're just kind of messing around and doing this as a hobby. There's not a very good discovery to be made here, I think. So even though they are very good at working together, they have a lot of enthusiasm. Could be that the conclusion that they have to draw ultimately is not a positive one. This may be the discovery of remains, meaning that she's not going to return to her family alive. And let's see if there's anything else we can get from this. One card fell off screen. It's you. The Ten of Swords, anxiety. Alright, in reverse though. So this may lead to more anxiety ultimately. It kind of looks like they're gonna make discoveries that, first of all, put a damper on a lot of things, and it's gonna give them some type of anxiety. And normally if it's upright and it's kind of like a temporary thing, this may be more of a permanent anxiety thing. There were definitely some theories about certain high organizations being involved in this, and it kind of is starting to look a bit like with these cards that there may be some discoveries made that are just too dark for them to want to reveal, and maybe they won't ultimately. I don't know. Let's take a look if we actually can get anything about that. Are they going to make this public? It could also very easily mean that certain people are worried about their discovery and they are looking at this new investigation very closely to make sure that they're not actually mentioned by name, that type of thing. Okay, that one. Didn't want to go back into the deck. All right, we have Page of Cups in reverse. Okay, so another negative surprise. I think this, combined with the other two cards down here, points towards them making discoveries that they were not expecting, that there were definitely a bad surprise. Also looking at the crab over there, that reminds me of the expression crab bucket. So in case you don't know, that kind of points towards if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one of them tries to escape, the other crabs will actually pull it back in. So I feel like this may be a reference to, or they're going to find something, but it may also not be put out there because certain crabs in the bucket do not want others to escape, or things to be revealed about them that they do not want in the public eye. So we may be looking at an attempt that starts off really enthusiastic and with a lot of people really working together and doing a really good job, and then they stumble across things, and that might then be the end of that investigation. So it doesn't look like we're going to see anything anytime soon. So not a great ending, but unfortunately that's all I'm seeing right now for Emanuela Orlandi. Hope you found it interesting nonetheless. If you have any cases that you want me to do a reading on, make sure to put that in the anonymous Google form that is linked in the description below the video. That keeps everything together. If you would like to help the channel, then dropping a like or a subscription would be very much welcomed. In any case, hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.